Hey everyone, this is Matt N3VAN, and look what just came in the mail. Dan's K9DP QRP Broadcast Interference Filter Kit, version 2.0. I bought this because the club's going to be doing a winter field day, and we decided to go QRP. So I have a bunch of QRP radios, but I'm deciding on the Xiegu X6100 as well as the G90 to bring along. I know others are going to be bringing their own radios, but bring a few others just in case people want to try it. So bought one of these to try out, and we're going to put it together. I know T.O. made one. I think he was doing the version 1.0, but I thought, might as well make a video on doing the 2.0, slightly different, and show you guys how to do it. So going to get the soldering iron turned on. We're going to open this up, go through the components, and start putting it together. So stick with me. All right, you know what this means. When the gray mat's out, we're going to be soldering. So let's open this up. And actually first, since we're doing winter field day and having two radios, I, along with buying one of these BCI filter kits from Dan, actually I bought two bandpass filters, one for 20 meters and one for 40. The only thing I didn't like, I mean, it's color coded, which is great, but if I'm out in the field or someone's using it and grabs my gear, they don't know what, band these are for. So I took a little Sharpie and popped them on there. So got those for there, but let's get right back into building this broadcast interference filter kit. Ooh. Come on. That's a decent, nice and thin though. Heat shrink tube. So, okay, so we got heat shrink, got the PCB board. They say version 1.2, not 2.0. Okay, we have two Toroids, same type. Two BNCs, those are surface mount. Got some nice enameled copper, a little purple reddish flare to it. It's a little thinner than the ones I would use, but we're going to use it for now. Maybe I'll experiment with different ones. And then we have three BNC, not three BNCs, three capacitors. And two of them, these larger ones, are going to be 820 picofarad. And the other one is going to be 470 picofarad. So the previous version, you actually wound the toroids a little more, I think 24 turns, but you had higher impedance with the picofarad, like a 3300 and maybe a 2200 picofarad capacitor. So we're reducing the capacitor, less amount of turns, and this is the new version 2.0 design. So let's get this all together, start winding these toroids, and we're good to go. All right, so I unraveled the enameled copper, 2 equal lengths, which is nice. You don't have to work in half and cut it in there. And what we're gonna do, according to his instructions, a little different than TO's, is we want to wrap this or wind it 18 times. So remember, a turn is through the middle. I'm going to do this 18 times. Now remember, this is thin enameled copper. You don't want to break it. A little thinner than I would want. I don't know. It's not, it's like, what, 26 maybe, or 36 gauge enameled copper. Nice and thin. I wind a lot of toroids for building antennas. Kind of figure out this is the 155 centigrade enameled copper. And then once you're done, once I'm done, or once you're done on that side, then you will space it appropriately. Let's see what we got. Maybe on this part, I will speed it up. I should be able to figure that out. Video editing. Do the other one off camera. So let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is number 7. And like T.O. mentioned, you can adjust the spacing and put like a nano VNA on here and check the impedance, which is nice. So you can adjust it, hopefully, preferably before you put the heat shrink tubing on. But heat shrink tubing is relatively inexpensive. You can, there we go. Let me just wind this up. There we go. 1, 2. Looks like we're good. 2, 3. Looks like we have 11. So there we go, 12. This should be number 18, guys. Okay. Now we're going to adjust the spacings to make it look perfect. Okay. All right, guys, off to the second toroid. Remember, 18 turns on version 2, 24 on version 1, the first one, which I don't think he offers anymore. So a turn counts as a pass through the center. And I'll probably be speeding this up. So we got 1 turn. Oops. 1 turn. Remember not to pull too tight. We'll have issues with breaking the wire. And I keep messing this up. And look just how small the capacitors are. There's the 821, which is the 820 picofarad, and then the 471, which is the 470 picofarad. And the one in the middle, that's just the other side of the 821. Let's get them on. All right, so we're ready to put the capacitors in. And according to Dan's instructions, the C1 and C3 get the 821 capacitor, which is the 820 picofarad capacitors, and the monkey in the middle is the 471, which is the 470 picofarad capacitor. Let's see if I can slide this in there without it going too blurry. Come on. Got small little tiny leads. Doing this looking through the camera, guys, so hopefully appreciate it. Bend it over, both sides. And there she is. All right, let's do the others. All right, guys, that's it. Got all the capacitors in. The leads bent over. And let's begin soldering it. All right, let's get soldering using the same solder that Dan recommends, which is the same one I use anyway. So little dip of solder. Oh, T.O., you're right. It does move. Little dip there. It's wiggling around. But we got it. There we go. All right, we're good. Now we just have to trim those off. Everyone has their favorite tools, and this is my favorite flush mount cutter, the multi-comp. So we're going to go here. Still doing it through the... There we go. So we're going to snip these all up. Make sure they don't fly. Go. this last one. There we go. Not bad. All right, let's get the BNC in. And a little trick I learned, well, by doing the other side, is get that little center one in first. And then these, you don't have to worry about popping out. Come on, heat up. There we go. T.O. is right. A little tricky to get this to heat up. There we go. One done. Let's do the other. I'm gonna have to hold it. Come on. It takes a little bit to heat up, but once you get it, it's good. Just get a little bit more on this side. There we go. And that shall do it. I got a little wing there. I'm going to clean that up a bit. But got the middle one in there. And then we're set. There we go. All cleaned up. Looking pretty spiffy. All right, last one. Pop those toroids on. And that's going to be the pain from what T.O. mentioned. So let's get right into the pain. All right, off to the final step. And that is putting the toroids in. And remember to scrape off enough enamel near the bottom so you can solder them nicely. Now, the question you might have, which I was wondering myself, is which way should they go? And in reality, it doesn't matter. But from what I'm seeing, the coated side, or the red coated side, goes towards the capacitor end. Let's see if I can get this in here. Come on. There we go. My eyes aren't doing too good today. And then solder it up and make sure that none of the turns are over each other. There we go. Toroids in. And he says to twist it at the bottom, make it easier for soldering, which I agree. They'll make it much easier to solder those in there. All right, the other one. Yep, come on. Put the second one in there, which is the exact same. There we go. In you go, toroid. Hold it firm in there. And twisty twist. All right, fairly nice. Perfect, perfect. Now the fun part, soldering these in. Oh yeah, that's gonna be fun, right, T.O.? Yeah, T.O. had a little enjoyment. He was putting little tools on the table to hold this up, and I might actually do the same. Let's get this soldered up. Okay, let's bring out that Kester solder I have. Heat up and solder that connection nice. There we go, one. Oops, a little more solder there. Two. Oh, it moved a bit. This one's going to be tough because the wire. There we go. All right. Cool it down. I'll check it. But I think we are good. All right. So that's pretty much it. Looking beautiful. Might work on the spacing a little bit of the wires. And then we're going to toss that heat shrink tube on. And that's it, guys. All right, guys, heat shrink tubing is on, and it looks like I know what I'm doing. So, going to be using this out at Winter Field Day with the club, and this will definitely come in handy. I might buy another one and then try my own type of enameled copper on there. But that's it for now. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, and toss any comments you have in there. Any questions about building this, by all means, I'll be glad to answer them for you. And if you would like me to continue making building videos of these kits, let me know. There's a bunch of other ones I want to do for myself, and if you guys are interested, I'd be glad to film it and show you how to put them together. Thanks, and hope you guys have a great day.